Shortly before 10 on weekends, you can see groups of young men ranging in age from 16 to 28 years along the streets of New Kingston, Jamaica, hanging out, casually chatting, laughing loudly. A closer look reveals they are also canvassing for business. They are sex workers, men who have sex with men.
When we leave from work or so on, we come to the spot to hang out. And most of us go to party at night. Some of us have a guy that will pick up to go to the hotel to do you know what. Yeah, and another thing, yeah.
Others have engaged in what has been described as an emotionally, physically, psychologically and dangerous trade after being abused.
I was 16 when I got raped. I went I get raped at a waterhouse. I went to look for a cousin and stuff, and I was going home back. And two gunmen, them hold me up on the street, and stuff. And from that, I never did talk to my family, man, and something actually, I never tell nobody and stuff until they might talk to me, I may not talk to them, and I trace them and I give them attitude and stuff. And then just put me out and still, me have to turn to this and for help me and stuff. I never have no me look comfort and help and stuff. Yeah, I have to turn to other guys and stuff for them help me. To get somewhere for sleep and then somewhere, if I use my body, to get place to sleep and to stay and stuff. And for food and money and clothes.
For many, including 51-year-old Marie, the road to sex work was not an easy one. She found herself on the wrong side of the law and, after serving time in prison, searched for a way to feed her family and herself. She decided to engage in the sex trade. It's a job that comes with its own stigma and discrimination and puts those that ply the trade at risk.
Well, I said to this man, do you want to do some business? He said, yes. I said, tell him the price and everything, and he said, okay. I tell him I'm not going to go far with him, I'm going to go over our usual spot, my spot where we work. He said, okay. By the time he reached to the destination, he said he's not going in there and drive away. It's not far, about 3 blocks from where I was standing. And he put the gun, carried me to a secluded spot, put the gun in my head in the car, and he wanted to have sex with me. And if I did anal sex, I tell him, no, I don't do anal sex. He do what he has to do, and then he pushed me out of the car and tell me to get out of his car. He didn't pay me or anything.
Them take disadvantage away. Some of them all want sex and want back their money. We have to stand up on our foot and fight them. Because we have pitney and I care why you're so out here, sir. We have pitney. And some of we, I want to make it there. Because right now, I look in the money. I mean, I get it yet.
Sex work is illegal in Jamaica. This makes it impossible for sex workers to report any abuses they face to the police.
When the police them come catch me with a businessman, they normally take away the man them, carry them off, threaten them. So them I go tell them why if I got them workplace. Them normally name the price of money where them want from the man them. And them like all $6,000-$10,000 and the man them have to carry them, got the bank go draw it and give them. Cause them not really want them wife or whatever, yeah.
They are abused by clients, employers, and even worse, when they go to the police sometimes, they are abused by the justice system that should be protecting them. It seems that some of the police just see sex worker, which is, we all know is illegal. But what about their rights as a human being? Discrimination is also another obstacle for sex workers in the community, where they live, where they work, sometimes even the home, where they are thrown out by their landlord or landlady.
Sex work is carried out in the shadows and behind closed doors in nightclubs. massage parlors, and even private homes in Jamaica. The men and women who make a living or supplement their earnings from the illicit trade struggle with their shame even while they endure abuse. Panas Caribbean, a regional NGO which works with Caribbean media and marginalized groups to raise awareness about the challenges faced by vulnerable groups, has published a book with the personal testimonies of 16 Jamaican sex workers, 15 of them female, about their experiences. The book was launched in November 2010 after 4 years of research, which included talking at length to sex workers in Negril, Montego Bay, Ocho Rios, and Kingston.
And they talked about exploitation a lot, the paid working conditions. They spoke about the discrimination issues, particularly the treatment of male sex workers as opposed to female sex workers. And you'll notice this when you read the book, that there's a very huge disparity. They talked about protection issues, health, how to protect themselves against HIV and the drug usage that is rife in sex work. And finally, legalization of sex work.
The kind of scrutiny that is brought to women on the streets, for example, is not the same kind of scrutiny that is brought to men selling sex to tourists in Ocho Rios and in Montego Bay and in other tourist areas in the region. In fact, they are hailed, they are bigged up as doing something good, something nice. Whereas on the flip side, women on the streets are abused. They're abused by some of the very people who should be protecting them. Police draw, let us be frank and say this, police draw down on them regularly to get money out of them in Kingston, Jamaica. In 2010 still, they have very little recourse because it is hard to go to the said police and say, excuse me, but as a sex worker, I was just violated by one of your own members. And so many of these are the issues captured in the oral testimonies, but also issues that we must not just hear again, but lend our voices.
President of the Sex Workers Association, Princess Brown, says it was formed with the assistance of the Caribbean Vulnerable Communities Coalition, CVCC, and Jamaica Aid Support, JAS, to give sex workers a voice.
Sex Work Association of Jamaica, SWAJ, is a part of the Caribbean Sex Work Coalition. It has a national body with 3 sub-regions, one in Montego Bay, Ocho Rios, and Kingston. The national body consists of a treasurer, secretary, vice president, and president. The president, yours truly, Princess Brown, is also the international speaker for sex workers across the regions. Members of the association has represented the organization on various levels within the Caribbean.
Some of the laws that restrict us from being able to access the most at-risk populations, those are stupid, outdated laws that serve us no good. Full stop. These are laws that cause HIV to spread. The fact that we cannot access these populations, they cannot get commodities, they cannot get information. Really and truly what it does is takes away their basic human right of getting information and being able to change their behavior.
Yeah, me like legalized so we can get for walk free and stuff, and we have our rights and then so like nobody no can butter we after that. So
there's a regional movement for this decriminalization of sex work in the region. So it's not a unique situation to Jamaica, and as such, even in the fight for HIV/AIDS, we have seen where criminalization adds to the epidemic more than it assists us in fighting the epidemic. And so where there's regional movement, they're a member of the regional sex worker group. They are being trained to advocate. They have in fact advocated. I don't know if the most recent instances we've heard the president more so on radio and in print media, talking about the violation of the rights of sex workers.
Jamaica Aid Support has been making headway in its bid to empower sex workers.
Sometimes them swipe them out with the swipe, and sometimes them take the nigger and juke up on the finger here, so, and them say, around the next 20 minutes we get it back.
They provide free testing and have counseling sessions for sex workers. Prevention relies on the principles of shared responsibility. Jazz also distribute condoms nightly to sex workers at their place of business, along the streets, in nightclubs and massage parlors. Jazz outreach officers explain how to negotiate with clients who oftentimes ask for unprotected sex and urge the use of condoms every time to protect against the transmission of HIV and other STIs.
And sometimes some of them come with their money for temp you, but a strictly condom we say no condom, no sex. A condom we use straight. Just come around and give a condom and teach you how to put on condom.
Jazz is actually a good place. It gives us condom, lubricants. It is a nice place sometimes. It finds food for you.
Then make sure you practice safe sex. Them help you like when them give you stuff like food and them some of them help you a lot.
At the moment, the Sex Workers Association of Jamaica is trying to understand the law and how to get around the law to have the sex work, the clause that speak to sex work be removed from the books so that they decriminalizes sex work and create a structured environment where sex workers can operate like a red light district, so to speak, because we think that if there is such formalization of it, there would be a greater control of the spread of STIs and STD. There would be a greater control and count of sex workers in Jamaica, and it would regularize the sex trade and make it into a formal job.